7 million years ago, early humans, ostriches, and the cradle of civilization. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a world untouched by human civilization. No cities, no roads, no lights to pierce the night sky. Just endless grassland stretching across the horizon. The year is not 2000, not even 10,000 BC. We are traveling far, far deeper into the past, 7 million years ago. The earth feels alien and familiar at the same time. The air is heavier, filled with the scent of wet soil and untamed vegetation. Herds of antelope-like creatures move nervously across the savannah. Towering giraffes munch on leaves, and distant elephants, smaller and hairier than the ones you know, rumble through the plains. But the most surprising creatures here are the ostriches. Yes, the same giant flightless birds that still exist today, running gracefully across the plains with speeds faster than most predators can chase. But this world is dangerous. Lurking in the tall grass are saber-toothed cats, hyenas with bone-crushing jaws, and crocodiles waiting silently near rivers. It's a world of constant survival, where you are either hunter or prey. And in the middle of this unforgiving wilderness stands a creature that will one day change the entire planet. The very first hominins, our earliest ancestors. They don't look like us yet. Their arms are longer, their faces more ape-like, and their bodies covered in hair. But something is different about them, something crucial. These creatures, like Sahelanthropus chidensis, walk on two legs at least some of the time. This is the very first step towards humanity, and it is happening right here in what scientists call the cradle of civilization, Central and East Africa. The cradle is no poetic term, it is literal. Africa, especially regions like the Great Rift Valley, is where the earliest evidence of human evolution has been discovered. Here, tectonic plates have been pulling apart for millions of years, creating valleys and exposing ancient layers of earth where fossils have been preserved like pages in a history book. If you want to know where humanity began, you must start here. But why does this matter? Because what happens in these grasslands 7 million years ago will shape everything, from the rise of Homo sapiens to the building of pyramids, from the invention of writing to the creation of the internet. This is where the story of us truly begins. Picture one of those early mornings. The sun is just beginning to rise, painting the sky with streaks of gold and red. A small group of early humans, perhaps just a mother, father, and their offspring, emerges from the shelter of trees where they spent the night. They are hungry. Food is scarce. They must find fruits, roots, and maybe scavenge a carcass left by lions. Danger is everywhere. Suddenly, they spot movement in the distance, a herd of giant ostriches grazing peacefully. For the early humans, ostriches are both a blessing and a curse. Their eggs are a valuable source of nutrition packed with protein. But these birds are fierce. An angry ostrich can deliver a kick strong enough to kill a predator. Approaching them is risky, yet the reward is great. Imagine the suspense. A tiny bipedal creature creeping closer to a nest, heart pounding, scanning for predators and for the enormous bird that could defend its eggs at any moment. This struggle, the constant push between fear and hunger, risk and reward, is what shapes the intelligence of these early hominins. They must plan. They must think ahead. They must watch the movements of the ostriches, wait for the right moment, and then act quickly. These are the first sparks of strategy, of problem-solving, the very roots of human intelligence. But this world is not static. Around 7 million years ago, the planet is changing. The climate is cooling and drying, slowly transforming forests into open grasslands. This forces our ancestors to adapt, to leave the safety of trees and spend more time walking upright on the ground. This shift is monumental. Walking on two legs frees their hands, allowing them to carry food, infants, and eventually tools. Step by step, they are becoming something new. Meanwhile, predators watch. Lions, leopards, and wild dogs are always on the hunt. Every sound could mean death. The early humans must stay alert. Imagine the tension as night falls, hyenas laughing in the distance, eyes glowing in the dark. The family huddles together, perhaps climbing into low trees for safety. Every rustle in the grass, every crack of a branch could mean a leopard is near. And yet, despite all the danger, they survive, they endure, and with every generation they grow just a little smarter, a little braver, a little more human. This is the opening chapter of humanity's story, a story filled with suspense, struggle, and survival. A story that began not in a palace or a temple, but out here, under the open African sky, side by side with ostriches and predators, in the cradle of civilization. 7 million years ago, early humans, ostriches, and the cradle of civilization. The sun climbs higher above the African horizon, and the heat begins to build. There is no shade for miles. The early hominins move carefully, their dark skin glistening with sweat, their eyes scanning for danger. Water is life, and today they must find it. Without it, they will not survive another day. In the distance, the sound of rushing water calls to them, a seasonal river still holding pools of muddy water from the last rains. But this river is no safe haven. Crocodiles lurk beneath the surface, and thirsty predators stalk its banks. Every step towards the water is a gamble with death. The family crouches low in the tall grass, waiting, watching. They are patient. This patience, this ability to wait for the right moment, is a new and powerful weapon. The predators drink first. A lioness lowers her head, golden eyes glowing. A pair of jackals stand nearby waiting for scraps. Slowly, as the big cats leave, the hominins approach, keeping one eye on the shadows. Finally, they drink. Quick, shallow gulps, always looking around. They know they must not linger. And then, something extraordinary happens. One of them picks up a stone, sharp on one side, and uses it to scrape meat off a bone left behind by hyenas. This is not just survival, this is innovation. This tiny act will one day lead to the first stone tools, to the invention of fire, and eventually to skyscrapers and spacecraft. But for now, their victory is small. A bit of meat, a little water, just enough to live one more day. As they leave the river, the ground trembles. A stampede, dozens of antelope charging past. The family freezes. Something is chasing them. The grass parts. A pack of wild dogs appears, their eyes fixed, their bodies lean and fast. The hominins climb the nearest tree, clutching each other tightly. The suspense is unbearable. The dogs run past, following the herd. The family is safe, for now. When they climb down, they notice something unusual. Near the edge of the clearing, half buried in the soil, lies a massive ostrich egg. Its shell gleams in the sunlight, smooth and white. The mother looks around, scanning the horizon. The ostrich is nowhere in sight. This is a rare gift, a treasure from nature. She moves quickly. With careful hands, she lifts the egg and carries it back to the shade. This single egg could feed them all. But this victory comes with risk. If the ostrich returns, it could attack. They must be quick. They crack the egg with a stone, and the rich liquid inside is shared among them. The taste is sweet and nourishing. For a moment, the fear fades. For a moment, they are not just surviving, they are thriving. But nature is not merciful for long. That night, as darkness falls, the sky fills with stars, brilliant, endless, unbroken by city lights. But along with the stars come the predators. The family huddles together high in the branches of a fig tree. Below them they hear the soft rustle of grass. A pair of glowing eyes appear, a leopard, silent, deadly, climbing towards them. The suspense is suffocating. The mother clutches her young. The father grabs a thick branch and shakes it, growling, trying to scare the predator away. The leopard hesitates, then retreats. Tonight, they are lucky. But every night is a battle, every day a test. There is no peace here, only survival. Over the next few generations, these challenges force the early hominins to change. They begin to walk farther, covering more ground. They explore new areas, learning which plants are safe, which predators are most dangerous, which birds are easiest to approach. The ostriches become a constant presence, not just as prey, but as teachers. Yes, teachers. The hominins watch them. They see how the ostriches spot predators from far away, how they run together in groups, how they protect their young. These lessons matter. The early humans begin to warn each other of danger with calls and gestures. This is the beginning of communication, the very first step toward language. One day, a young male wanders near an ostrich nest again. This time, the giant bird is waiting. It charges, its powerful legs kicking up dust. The young male runs for his life, his heart pounding. He barely escapes, and he remembers. This memory will be shared with others. They will know where the nest is, when to approach, when to stay away. Knowledge is beginning to pass from one generation to the next. This is how evolution works. Slowly, painfully, but always forward. Each challenge, each close call makes them a little more aware, a little more intelligent. But danger is always near. The climate continues to change. Seasons grow harsher, rain becomes less predictable. The grasslands spread even wider, and now new predators are arriving. Faster, smarter hunters like early cheetahs and saber-tooths. The seasons pass, and with them, generations of early humans are born and lost. Slowly, they begin to gather in larger groups. A single family is too vulnerable. A leopard can wipe them out in a single night. But a group can stand together. A group can fight back. The grasslands are alive with danger, but also with opportunity. One morning, the group watches from a safe distance as vultures circle overhead. Something is dead, maybe a zebra or antelope. They approach carefully, holding stones and sticks. The hyenas have already fed and left behind only bones and scraps. But for these hominins, scraps are enough. One of them picks up a sharp-edged rock and strikes it against another stone. The rock shatters, leaving behind a sharper edge. This is not yet a true tool, not yet. But the idea is there. Soon, others begin to imitate. With these sharp stones, they scrape every last bit of meat and marrow from the bones. The taste of marrow, rich, fatty, full of calories, fuels their growing brains. And those brains are changing fast. Their eyesight is sharper, their memory longer. They are beginning to plan ahead, to work together, but every day is still a gamble. As they travel across the plain, they encounter a flock of ostriches. perhaps a dozen of them, tall and watchful. The leader of the group, a strong young male, gestures to the others. They know what he means. This time, they are not just scavenging. They are hunting. The plan is simple but dangerous. A few of the group will distract the birds from one side while the others creep toward the nest from the other. The scene is tense. The ostriches notice the movement and hiss loudly, flapping their wings. Suddenly, one of the birds charges, its long legs thundering against the ground. The distraction group scatters, yelling and waving sticks. The ostrich chases them just long enough for the others to grab one of the eggs and run. Victory, but at a cost. One of the young females falls as she runs, and the ostrich nearly catches her. A powerful kick misses her by inches. Her screams echo across the savannah. Somehow, she escapes. The group gathers later under a tree, shaken but alive, clutching the precious egg like treasure. As the sun sets, they share the egg and the few berries they have found, but they are not alone tonight. Out of the darkness, the sound of hyenas rises, a chilling chorus. The group huddles close together, clutching stones, ready to defend themselves. Then, something extraordinary happens. One of the older males picks up a branch that had been struck by lightning days ago, still blackened from the fire. He waves it at the hyenas, who retreat, startled by the smell of smoke and the glow of embers. This moment will be remembered. Fire, dangerous and mysterious, is terrifying, but also powerful. Someday these creatures will learn to control it. Someday fire will become their greatest weapon. But tonight it is simply a lucky charm that saves their lives. The next morning they move again. The cradle of civilization is not a place where they can stay still for long. Food runs out quickly. Predators find them. They must keep walking. The journey takes them to a new part of the savannah, a place with rocky cliffs and caves. Here they find shelter, and for the first time they feel something like safety. From this high ground they can see for miles. They can spot lions before they attack. They can watch the herds moving, the ostriches running, the seasons changing, and here something else begins to happen. Communication grows more complex. They point, they grunt, they mimic the calls of animals. The young ones learn fast, copying everything the adults do. Knowledge is no longer accidental. It is being taught. One day, the group witnesses a dramatic scene. A cheetah brings down a gazelle not far from their cave. But before the predator can eat, a pack of hyenas arrives and chases it away. The group waits until the hyenas leave. Then they approach the remains. This time, they are prepared. They use stones not just to scrape meat, but to crack bones open for marrow. It is slow, noisy work, but the reward is worth it. The rich marrow fuels their growing bodies and brains, giving them the energy to travel farther, think faster, and survive longer. But survival is not guaranteed. During the night, a leopard silently climbs into the cave. The group wakes to chaos, screams, growls, the sound of claws on stone. The leader grabs a rock and hurls it at the predator, striking it on the head. The leopard retreats, limping into the darkness. This is a turning point. For the first time, the early humans have driven away a predator, not by running, but by fighting back. The message is clear. They are no longer just prey. The next day they stand together at the mouth of the cave, watching the sunrise. The world is still dangerous, but they are changing. They are learning to use tools, to communicate, to protect each other. And as they watch the ostriches running across the plain, a strange thought stirs in their growing minds. Perhaps one day they will not just survive in this world, they will rule it. 7 million years ago, early humans, ostriches, and the cradle of civilization. Weeks turn into seasons, and seasons into years. The group is no longer just surviving. They are evolving. Their hands, once clumsy, are becoming skilled. Their brains are growing larger. The once random breaking of stones has turned into something more deliberate. One of the males squats near a riverbed, 2 stones in hand. With careful strikes, he chips one stone until it forms a sharp edge. It is a slow, painstaking process, but when it is done, he holds the result proudly. This is a tool, the first true weapon in human history. At first, the others only watch, but soon they imitate him, copying his strikes. One by one, they make their own sharp stones. These are not perfect tools, just crude flakes, but they are enough to change everything. Now, when they find the bones of a zebra or gazelle, they can strip them clean, crack them open, and get every drop of nourishment. This new skill gives them strength, and strength gives them courage. One dry season, food becomes scarce. The rivers shrink to muddy pools. The grass turns yellow. The group is hungry, desperate. And then they spot an opportunity. A small herd of antelope grazing near the riverbank. Until now, they have never dared to attack living prey. But now, with their sharp stones and sticks, they have a chance. The leader grunts, signaling to the others. The group spreads out, forming a rough half circle. The scene is electric with tension. The antelope sense something is wrong. Their ears twitch, their tails flick, and then the charge begins. The early humans run forward, shouting, throwing stones. The startled herd scatters. One young antelope trips on a root and falls. The group descends on it. The kill is messy, chaotic, not graceful like a lion's hunt, but it is enough. For the first time, they are hunters, not just scavengers. That night, under the stars, they feast. They eat the meat raw, but their bodies crave the protein. Their stomachs are full. For once, they do not go to sleep hungry. But the savannah is not a place that allows easy victory. As they rest, a pack of hyenas creeps near, drawn by the smell of blood. The group hears the cackling and leaps to their feet. The leader grabs a burning branch from a nearby lightning-struck tree. Firelight flickers in the night, and the hyenas hesitate. The group screams and throws stones, embers glowing in the dark. The hyenas retreat, whining in frustration. For the first time, the balance of power has shifted. The predators have been driven away. The next day, the group explores farther than ever before. They travel toward a rocky ridge where ostriches are known to gather. The birds are wary, their large eyes scanning for danger. The group moves carefully, learning from past mistakes. This time, their goal is not just eggs. They want more. The leader signals and the group spreads out. When one of the ostriches notices them and begins to charge, 2 males leap from the side, waving branches and shouting. The bird panics and runs in the opposite direction. In the chaos, the others grab not 1, but 2 massive eggs. It is an incredible success. The group celebrates, dancing and calling to one another. They are not just scavengers anymore. They are becoming strategists, hunters, and planners. But evolution is not just physical, it is mental. That night, as they sit under the sky, something stirs inside them. One of the young males begins to mimic the call of a distant bird. The others laugh, making their own sounds. Soon they are talking in a way they never have before. Not real words, but sounds that carry meaning. Communication is being born. Weeks later, the group faces a new threat. A rival group of early humans appears near the river. At first, they watch from a distance, but when both groups approach the same carcass, a fight breaks out. Rocks fly through the air, sticks swing. The sound of screams echoes across the plain. This is the first war, not for land, not for power, but for food. In the end, one group retreats, and the victors claim the meat. The cost is high. One of their own is injured, limping badly, but the victory sends a message. This group is strong. They will defend what is theirs. Over the next months, they grow bolder. They begin to travel in a larger territory. They hunt more often. They gather around smoldering branches, warming themselves at night. And little by little, fear begins to fade. But the cradle of civilization is never truly safe. One evening, as they approach the river, they see a terrifying sight. A massive crocodile lunging from the water, dragging an antelope beneath the surface. The water churns, then goes still. The group backs away, their hearts pounding. Even with tools, even with fire, they are reminded of a harsh truth. The world is still full of dangers far beyond their control. Yet something has changed forever. These creatures, these early humans, are no longer at the mercy of the world. They are beginning to shape it. As they move back toward their cave, the leader carries a sharpened stone in one hand and a smoldering branch in the other. Behind him, the group follows, not just a collection of individuals, but a team, a tribe. The first flicker of humanity has truly begun. The leader approaches cautiously, feeling the heat with his hands. The others watch. One of the young males picks up a stick, pokes at the embers, and it bursts into flame again. The group jumps back, frightened but fascinated. For hours, they stay near the fire, staring at it, adding dry grass and twigs to keep it alive. Slowly, fear turns into understanding. Fire is not just danger. It is protection, warmth, and light. That night, for the first time in history, they sleep not in total darkness, but in the glow of firelight. The predators keep their distance. The hyenas stay away. Even the leopards hesitate. The group feels something new, safety. And with safety comes confidence. Over the following weeks, they begin to carry smoldering branches with them when they travel. They keep small fires alive, feeding them carefully. If a fire dies, they wait for the next lightning storm. But they are learning slowly to control this gift. Fire changes everything. They can now scare predators, cook meat, though at first it is accidental, and stay warm during the coldest nights. The crackle of fire becomes the heart of their gatherings. One evening, they sit together near their fire when a loud hiss fills the air. From the tall grass emerges an enormous ostrich, furious at the intrusion. Its wings spread wide, its beak snapping. The group jumps to their feet, clutching stones and branches. This time, they do not run. The leader waves a flaming branch, and the ostrich stops, confused. The flames frighten it. With loud cries, the group advances together, waving fire and throwing stones. The ostrich retreats into the darkness, leaving behind its nest. When the danger passes, the group approaches the nest. Inside are 3 massive eggs. They take them carefully and retreat to the fire. The eggs are roasted over the flames, the first cooked meal in human history. The taste is unlike anything they have ever known. Rich, smoky, easier to chew and digest. That night, they sleep with full bellies, the fire glowing beside them. But the cradle of civilization is still a place of trials. Weeks later, disaster strikes. A rival group returns, the same one they fought months ago. This time, they are larger in number. The confrontation is tense. Both groups shout, wave sticks, throw stones. Then suddenly, one of the rival males is struck on the head and falls. The others retreat, leaving him behind. The group approaches cautiously. The fallen male is still unmoving. For the first time, the early humans stand around one of their own kind. Not predator, not prey, but another like them. And they understand something new. They understand death. The group does not eat the body, though they are hungry. Instead, they sit in silence for a long time. Some touch the body, some cry out softly. When they finally leave, they cover it with branches. This moment marks the first spark of something profound: respect for life, perhaps even the earliest ritual of mourning. Life, however, cannot stop. The next day they travel again, following the herds. Their hunting has improved. Now they coordinate more carefully. One group drives the prey toward another group hiding ahead. Their first attempts fail. The animals escape, but slowly their timing gets better. One fateful day they surround a young antelope. This time their plan works. The kill is swift, the feast plentiful, and this time they do not eat in fear. They eat in celebration, dancing and waving their arms, shouting to the sky. The firelight flickers on their faces, casting long shadows on the cave walls. In those dancing shadows, if you look closely, you can almost see the future, the shadow of a spear, the outline of a village, the spark of a story being told. Humanity is still millions of years away, but the path is now clear. 7 million years ago, early humans, ostriches, and the cradle of civilization. The season of rain has returned, but it is not gentle this time. The sky roars for days, the rivers swell and burst their banks, and the once safe grassland becomes a dangerous swamp. The group huddles together near the high ground where their fire burns. For the first time since they discovered fire, they fear losing it. The rain keeps putting it out, and they have to carry embers and hollowed pieces of wood, shielding them from the downpour. When the rains finally stop, the world looks different. Trees have been knocked down. The river has carved new paths, and carcasses of drowned animals lie scattered across the plain. The group scavenges what they can, but they are not the only ones. Hyenas arrive first, snarling and laughing, trying to claim the bodies. But the group is no longer helpless. With fire and stones, they drive the hyenas back. One young female discovers something by accident: a sharp stone broken in half during the fight. Its edge is so sharp it cuts her hand. The leader notices and picks it up, using it to slice open the hide of a carcass. The meat comes off faster, easier. This discovery changes everything. Soon, they are breaking stones on purpose, choosing the ones that crack into sharp shapes. The first stone tools are born. Over weeks, each member of the group learns to make their own. Some are better at it than others, and slowly roles begin to form. One male becomes the expert tool maker. Another becomes the main firekeeper, staying behind to protect the embers. The stronger ones become hunters and protectors. The older ones keep watch, warning of predators. The group is no longer just a wandering band. They are becoming a community. One night, under the stars, they sit around the fire. The flames flicker on their faces. The leader holds up a sharp stone, striking it against another to make sparks. The others watch, fascinated. Though they still cannot create fire from scratch, this moment is a glimpse of what is to come. But peace does not last long. A sound tears through the night, a low, deep growl. The group freezes. Out of the darkness comes a shape larger than any predator they have ever seen. A lion, but not an ordinary lion. This one is enormous, a cave lion, heavier and more muscular than today's lions. Its golden eyes catch the firelight. The group screams and throws burning branches, but the lion does not run. It circles, looking for an opening. The hunters form a wall, clutching their sharpened sticks and stones. For long minutes, predator and prey face each other, the fire crackling between them. Then, with a sudden leap, the lion charges. Chaos explodes, stones fly, fire is waved, screams fill the air. One of the hunters is struck down, his shoulder torn by the lion's claws. But the group does not scatter this time. They surround the predator, striking from all sides. The fire burns its fur, the sharp stones cut its legs. Finally, with one last cry, the lion retreats into the darkness, leaving a trail of blood behind. The group stands panting, shaking, but victorious. The wounded hunter is dragged back to the fire. The others tend to him using leaves and mud to stop the bleeding. This is the first sign of care. They do not leave him behind. For days, they share food with him until he can walk again. This moment forges a new bond. They have faced death together and survived. The weeks that follow are strangely quiet. The group travels again, following the herds as the plains turn green. Along the way, they pass the ostrich nesting grounds once more. This time, they do not merely take eggs. They watch the birds carefully, learning their habits, knowing when they will lay new ones. For the first time, they are not just reacting to nature, they are planning ahead. Then comes the storm. The sky grows dark, the wind howls, and from the horizon comes a wall of dust, a sandstorm. The group panics, clutching the children in the fire. The world turns red and black as the sand chokes the air. When the storm passes, the land is unrecognizable. Their old paths are gone, the familiar trees buried. Worse, the fire is gone, completely extinguished. They search desperately for embers, but find nothing. For the first time in months, they are without fire. The nights grow cold, predators grow bold, and fear returns. The part ends with the leader standing on a hill, looking at the sky, waiting for a lightning storm to come. The future of the group depends on it.